Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Looking for ways to keep the kids entertained while traveling? Netflix Games lets them jump into fun, creative adventures at no extra cost. Everything's unlocked with your Netflix membership. From Paw Patrol Academy and Lego Duplo World to Barbie color creations and World of Peppa Pig, there's something for every little explorer. And you don't need Wi-Fi. Kids can play anytime, anywhere. Visit netflixfamily.com/travel tips for all your kids' holiday entertainment.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
The subject I want to tackle this hour, and it's a statement coming from the widow of Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk. What healing comes out of hating Jewish people as she condemns anti-Semitism? I really want to deal with that this hour. I want to hear from you on that issue. Dominic Carter here, 800-848-9222. This as the loss is unspeakable in terms of what's going on in Australia. The famed Australian rabbi killed in the Bondi Beach massacre laid to rest. We're coming right back to that topic. Don Lemon, formerly of CNN, seems to have had a complete nervous breakdown over President Trump. You'll hear that in just a moment. We're going to get to Los Angeles, where the district attorney says in the death of Rob Reiner and his wife that he's not taking the death penalty off the table. We're going to get to all of these topics, but let's start at the White House tonight. And if you listen to the station in New York, then a WABC, no matter where you're listening from around the country right now, then you know the morning show is hosted by my colleague Sid Rosenberg. Sid Rosenberg at the White House tonight, an event from President Trump, where President Trump singled out Sid and called him up to speak for a moment from the podium at the White House. Sid Rosenberg standing right next to the President of the United States, and here was that interaction.
Oh, no. Congratulations. Sid Rosenberg, there he is. You want to come up here, Sid? Mark, should I let Sid come up, Mark?
Please.
Yeah. Come on, Sid. So Sid's got the #1 radio show in New York. And the #1 radio show in New York, like by far, ABC.
Yeah.
Works for a really nice guy, too. Actually, he's not that nice, but he's nice. He works for a good man.
There you have it, President Trump speaking about my colleague Sid Rosenberg. Let's go with Don Lemon now. Don Lemon, I want you to listen to this. You talk about Trump derangement syndrome. Listen to what Don Lemon, who sounds like he's having a nervous breakdown.
You know what, Donald Trump, you. Just all the way off. What an asshole and a small-minded, small dick to do. Like, you have no couth. You are an immature child. You are a bigot, a fucking racist, and a small penis hole. Yeah, I said that. Just hateful and delusional. And you have the nerve to be upset because people were critical of Charlie Kirk's, what he said before he died, how he talked about black people and women and all, and you have the nerve to be all up in arms about that. Just all the way off. That just shows me that you were just grifting off of Charlie Kirk's death. But you don't give a shit about respecting someone when they die. You don't care. You care about yourself. and you are preaching and promoting hate. It's just vile. It makes me sick that you are president of the United States. It's embarrassing.
Don Lemon, clearly something's going on mentally. Don is openly gay and referring to a small penis, and he didn't use the word penis, saying it twice. Something is wrong mentally. I don't know what's going on with Don Lemon, but he needs to stay away from the public forum for a while. And folks, we're going to get those comments from you, from Sid Rosenberg, speaking at the podium at the White House, acknowledging President Trump. We'll have that for you momentarily. But now let's go to Los Angeles, where the district attorney is not ruling out the death penalty in the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife.
My name is Nathan Hochman. I'm the district attorney of Los Angeles County. Today, I'm here to announce that our office will be filing charges against Nick Reiner, who is accused of killing his parents, actor-director Rob Reiner, and photographer-producer Michelle Singer Reiner. These charges will be 2 counts of first-degree murder with the special circumstance of multiple murders. He also faces a special allegation that he personally used a dangerous and deadly weapon, that being a knife. These charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. No decision at this point has been made with respect to the death penalty. We have requested, and currently Nick Reiner is being held without bail.
So that's the situation in L.A. Let's now go to Providence, Rhode Island, where, as I've said for the last couple of days, I don't think the president there is going to survive politically. This is what she said at a news conference today.
The primary point that I wanted to address before we get to questions is that Brown is deeply committed to the safety and security and well-being of our community. And I've been deeply saddened to see people questioning that.
And the Attorney General in Rhode Island says every tape that they have in their possession has been released to the public.
There is no footage. I'll try to say it again. There is no footage that depicts this individual that would be useful in identifying him that we have not released to you. And I think you can tell from, frankly, the not very helpful quality of the initial footage that our standard is pretty low. If we thought it was at all helpful, we would have and will release it.
So now let's get to Erica Kirk and anti-Semitism. Erica Kirk, of course, the widow of Charlie Kirk. And she's raising a great question. She was part of a CBS town hall meeting, and again, CBS. And the issue becomes, what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? And she condemned anti-Semitism. And I want you to hear this, and we'll be taking your phone calls momentarily.
Bob Milgram is the father of Sarah Milgram. Sarah was fatally shot last May outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., alongside Yaron Lashinsky, her boyfriend. Sarah was just 26 years old when she was killed. Bob, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Barry. Hello, Erica.
Hi, sir.
Just as our family could not anticipate the pain we've been going through following the murder of our daughter, Sarah, there is no way I can understand the pain that you and your children are going through as a result of Charlie's tragic death. Our daughter was killed because of anti-Semitism, hate against Jews, and hate against the Jewish homeland, Israel. We know about the growth of anti-Semitism on the left, including here in New York City, where the mayor-elect still will not condemn the phrase, globalize the infantata. What I want you to address is growing anti-Semitism on the right, including Holocaust denial, anti-Zionism, and the normalizing of centuries-old conspiracy theories about Jews. Will you here condemn the individuals spreading that hate and speak out clearly enough against anti-Semitism so we can prevent another tragedy?
Yes, sir. First of all, I'm so sorry. You and I are a part of a very small club. Painful. But you're in good company, and I will pray for you. Sucks, doesn't it? Hate is hate. It's evil. Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful. Awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general. Nothing. Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together. And to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor, how could you hate that place? How could you hate the Jewish people? Why? Because you need to fulfill a conspiracy theory? I'm wrapped in, people say I'm a part of conspiracy theories all the time. It's sick. And it needs to stop. We are human. No one is perfect. No Christian is perfect. No Jew is perfect. No Muslim is perfect. We are broken, sinful humans in need of a Lord and Savior. And that's why it is so important to give your life to the Lord. Because once you do that and you fully surrender to the Lord, you have no room in your heart for hate. And so, sir, I am so sorry what happened to your daughter. I pray that does not happen, and I pray that that is something that we can somehow extinguish in this world. But we are living in enemy-occupied territory. And every single day we need to guard ourselves, guard our minds, guard our heart. And the best way to do that is reading God's Word. And you cannot separate the Old Testament from the New Testament. You cannot. You cannot.
And so we have a lot coming up, and I need much more time than this program, what we have left, to deal with this topic of anti-Semitism, because I just don't get it. I ask people all the time, explain this to me. And I'm just not understanding completely the full hatred of one group of people that has done nothing to anybody else, and you just want to hate on them. We're going to take a short break. We have so much more to get to in this program. We see all your telephone calls. The number to reach us is 800-848-9222.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This shrimp and coconut sauce is divine. What's your secret?
Goya coconut milk.
How does it taste so good?
It's all in that real coconut flavor and that rich, creamy texture.
What about thickeners and added sugars?
None. Just smooth, coconutty goodness.
What can I make with it?
From curries to sweet treats like coconut flan, the possibilities are endless.
Goya coconut milk. Take your cooking to the next level. No question about it. Find it in the Goya section of your local grocery store. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Chronic spontaneous urticaria, or chronic hives with no known cause. It's so unpredictable. It's like playing pinball. Itchy, red bumps start on my arm, then my back. Sometimes my legs. Hives come out of nowhere. And it comes and goes. But I just found out about a treatment option at treatmyhives.com. Take that, chronic hives. Learn more at treatmyhives.com.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And at the White House a short time ago, a few hours ago, as I mentioned, if you listen here in New York, you know Sid Rosenberg does the morning show. Sid was at a White House affair with his wife Danielle, and President Trump shouted him out from the crowd, invited Sid to come up on stage, and this was their exchange with each other.
Oh, no. Congratulations. Sid Rosenberg, there he is. You want to come up here, Sid? Mark, should I let Sid come up, Mark?
Please.
Yeah. Come on, Sid. So Sid's got the #1 radio show in New York. Got the #1 radio show in New York, like by far, ABC. Yeah. Works for a really nice guy, too. Well, actually, he's not that nice, but he's nice. He works for a good man.
I love him. You all love him? Yeah! Has there been a president even close to this guy? Even close? No! And now I know so he starts tonight talking about Australia. Good luck with anybody else in our government, starting with the Jewish people in Australia. Nobody better, and the fact you called me up on stage, I'm going to say this. My beautiful wife Danielle's in the audience. The birth of my 2 children. Outside of that, President Trump, this right now is the greatest moment of my life.
Sid Rosenberg speaking from the heart on stage with the President of the United States. You go, Sid. Congratulations. And thank you for that, President Trump. Let's start with some of your telephone calls. Let's go to John, line 4, Reno, Nevada. John, good morning. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dominic. I wanted to talk about Don Lemon, and then I wanted to touch on anti-Semitism.
Okay, but John, let me just say this. When you set up the conditions, you just wasted 20 seconds. Just go ahead and say what you want to say.
Okay. I'm a conservative like you, but I always appreciated Don Lemon. I found him perky and intelligent.
Well, you and I strongly he's always been a clown. He's always been a clown that's not too intelligent. Frankly, that wants to be me when from my television days. I'm being honest with you. I don't see how anybody in their right mind could respect Don Lemon. But go ahead.
Through my fanship of him, I read some of his stuff, and he's a heavy drinker. He's been a heavy drinker most of his time in the business, and I think it's caught up with him. I'm going to pray for him and wish him well.
Yeah, what he said about President Trump, it's despicable. I guess.
Does that to people.
Say that again.
Alcoholism does that to people.
Still, I don't know if that's what is the cause. There's still no excuse for that type of behavior. But John, I hear you. Thank you for the call. Line 2, Al in Yonkers, New York. Al, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, how you doing? I just wanted to say in regards to hate, hate happens to all different groups, and it's unfortunate that the Jewish people are targeted more than most. But you remember during the height of the pandemic, Asian women were getting attacked on all the...
But nothing like what happens to the Jewish community. It's not even close.
Yeah, no, you exactly. But I just wanted to point out, during the pandemic, a lot of Chinese women were getting attacked on the subways and all the different...
You had a few. You had a handful. Al, I'm sorry. I got to toss to a break here. You had some, but we're talking about an entire community under attack around the world. It is wrong. It is absolutely wrong. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And we are back. In a second, I'm bringing in Matt Blaze on the topic of anti-Semitism. But folks, I do find the need to say this. I don't understand some people, some of the callers, and some of them, their behavior, I'm not going to say it scares me, but it alarms me, right? So normally I wouldn't say this. Normally I don't let you folks know what's going on behind the scenes. But there's one caller, Larry in Brooklyn. Larry, about a year ago, all but called me stopped one step short of calling me the N-word on air, as far as I was concerned. And he thinks that I'm going to forget. So he will never, ever, ever be on the radio with me. He's been told this 1,000,001 times. So what does Larry do? He continues to call every single night lately like nothing ever happened. And I'm not even talking about the horrible things he said online. I don't care about what he said online because I don't read it. He's not that important to me. But I was made aware of the horrible comments. And then he calls up here like nothing ever happened, and he wants to get on the radio. Life doesn't work that way. So I'm saying this publicly, Larry, so maybe you'll finally get the hint. I want to be very clear. You will never, ever, ever be on the air with me after all but falling one step short of calling me the N-word on the radio, as far as I was concerned. So I hope that I'm crystal clear, because you eat up a phone line that the valuable public could be calling. You are not going to get on. You might as well stick with the other shows. I don't know what this obsession is you have with me, but listen, homeboy, it's never, ever, ever going to happen. So I hope I'm crystal clear so we can stop this game and you can stop wasting the phone screener's time. You're not going to get on. What part of no are you not understanding? Okay, Matt Blaze. Matt, help me out. I'm having a big problem here. And I've been asking a lot of people. I don't understand anti-Semitism. I understand hate. I understand ignorant people. But like whenever I ask people to explain this to me, right, anti-Semitism, they'll say, well, because they feel, and this is a stereotype, they'll say they feel that Jews have everything. First of all, that's not true, right? And second of all, whatever someone has, they earned. So why would I hate on someone else?
Right.
I don't get it, man. So maybe you can put this in context for me, because I really don't. And if you go to Israel and you understand how they are forced to live, the great people of Israel, always under constant possibility of an attack, it just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, growing up as a Jewish kid, it was always, you always felt different. You didn't know why, because they look at you and they see, look, I'm a white guy. They see you coming, Dominic, you're black. They could see right away you're black. Me, they don't look at me and they know I'm Jewish because I don't wear a yarmulke. I'm not Hasidic. I don't have the beard. I don't have the hat. I don't have the clothes. So they don't know. So I've been around people that have told jokes and things like that, and it doesn't bother me. I just let it roll off. But what I never understood was, and what I think, you're asking, why is there anti-Semitism? What's how come? I don't know if people are just afraid of things they don't understand, or they think something different. Like people literally think Jews are evil. And I don't know if that's a religious thing.
Why?
I don't know. I don't, because they've never met anybody who was Jewish. When I went to college in Connecticut, now this is in New Haven, Connecticut, okay? I met people that grew up in Connecticut that never met anybody who was Jewish before. And you know what they said to me? Where's your horns? Because they think that Jews have horns growing out of their heads. In all seriousness. This is not that many years ago. I mean, it's 30 some odd years ago. But still, They thought Jews have horns coming out of their heads. And I said this to you off the air because this happened to me when I was 8 years old. And I'll try to make it short. That there's a bunch of kids playing in the neighborhood, and there was two smaller kids. I was probably 9 years old. I was the oldest kid out of the group. There's probably 10 kids out there. And we were playing with this little girl. We were swinging her around, and I knew it was probably not a good idea to do that. So I kind of stopped and was away from it. But the kid's father came, okay? And he looked right at me, like centered me out of all the kids, looked right at me, and he said, "Don't you ever touch my kids, you little Jew bastard." Now, at the time, I didn't know what that even meant. I thought I was in trouble, like for touching his kid. I didn't even tell my parents about it. It wasn't until years later, it stuck with me, that I realized what he was saying and who he was. Because a week later, when I was out there with his son, the father called his son over to him, and I saw him whisper something into his ear. And then the kid came over to me and said, "My dad said I can't play with you anymore." And he walked away. Now, I thought, oh, he thinks I'm a bad influence on his kid. I didn't realize, no, it's because I was Jewish. And he was an anti-Semite. I never did anything that horrible. I'm a 9-year-old kid. And I just think people are just raised with this obscure, strange, twisted belief because they just don't know. And I don't think about that of anybody. If I don't know you, I don't know you. Why am I going to think you're a bad person because you're of some religion? I just don't see things that way.
In a moment, I'm going to go to Teddy in Yonkers. I see Teddy is standing by on line 3. We see all your calls coming in. So, Matt, I'm sorry that happened to you as a child, because that clearly had to have scarred you for life, even though we try to minimize these things, because as a grown man all these years later, you're reciting the story.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it definitely affected me because, again, even though at the moment I didn't realize what he said, but I guess in the back of my head I must have known because I always remembered it. And to this day, and even before that, and it wasn't until I was probably in my 20s maybe that I was like, that guy, what he said to me was anti-Semitic, like just because I was Jewish. And I didn't experience a lot of that as a kid, a little bit, because when you grow up in an era, and not that I'm saying it's bad, and I've said this before about I was the Jewish kid, I wished I had a Christmas tree because everything was about Christmas. I sat on Santa's lap when I was like 5, and he said, "Little boy, what would you like for Christmas?" And I went, "Santa, I'm Jewish." And he goes, "All right, well, what do you want for Hanukkah?" That was what he did. And he didn't kick me off his knee or anything. I had the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer record, but I still took part in Hanukkah and the Jewish customs of what you do around that time and eating latkes and playing dreidel and all. I did all those things. I went to Hebrew school. I was bar mitzvahed, all of those things. And there's definitely, I guess now is more openness than it was years ago, because I know I, as a kid, felt like, oh, how come I don't get Christmas? Or how come I don't have that? You do feel something like that. But then, I never wished not to be Jewish or anything like that. You are who you are. And
thank you for that, Matt. We're going to get back to the calls. I will never understand it. You just tried your best to explain it to me. Maybe it's not for me to understand. Maybe it's just not for me. But thank you for doing your best to try and help me understand this hatred. It just makes absolutely no sense to me. Don't hate on another man or woman. Get out there and hustle and get your own. Do your own. Don't hate on somebody else. That's my philosophy in life. If you got something I want, I'm going to congratulate you, and then I'm going to work 8 times harder to get where I need to go. Let's go back to your telephone calls. Let's go to line 3, Teddy in Yonkers. Teddy, what's on your mind this morning?
After hearing Matt, it just kills me inside. You know what I mean? I went to bed early tonight because dealing with my sister, and we're getting a hospital bed tomorrow delivered to the house because she won't be able to go up and down the stairs anymore. So we're going to keep her downstairs, and the stress is just getting to me and my brother, who does a tremendous amount of stuff. And hearing you speak so eloquently, great, caring. Even though I disagree with you totally on Trump, you're a fine person of good character. And what Matt was saying, I experienced that too when I was young. But when you're young, you don't understand. You can't comprehend. Okay? And it just kills me, Dominic. And I'd like to, you being black and you've experienced racism, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it when you're confronted with it? When you hear these things?
But Teddy, I don't want you to get upset here with what I'm about to say to you, and here's why I'm conflicted. All right.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, grew up in an all black community, all black and Spanish, in the Bronx. You know, but before there was this phenomenon of the term of kids born out of wedlock, 80% of the kids I grew up with, nobody had a father, right? So the one or two fathers in the neighborhood, it was shocking. We didn't look at it as special, but it was shocking because nobody had a father. The only person we had was our football coach, Bill, who happened to be a white police officer. So believe it or not, Teddy, I cannot tell you of any example of racism that I faced. And that's part of the reason why I'm so confused. One time when I was in college, 2 a.m., you know, everybody's drinking, the kids are drunk. So sort of what Matt just said, and Matt is listening to you right now. He's part of the conversation. But these white guys in a pickup truck, I'm up in Cortland, New York. I arrive on campus. There were maybe 40 black students out of 6,000, and I happen to be one of them. And these kids, I'm walking back to where I lived at, and these kids in the truck, they go by and they're drunk, and they yell the N-word. And when they said the N-word, my response was, your mother. And they heard me, and they just kept on going. That's the only time that I can think in my life that I have experienced racism. Now, maybe you as a teacher can tell me different. You know, maybe the schools were redlined. Not maybe, they were, right? But here's the bottom line, Teddy. So I was, and here's why you will never hear me knock teachers. I was 1 or 2 credits short to graduate high school on time. And the gym teacher, this is before O.J. Simpson had his troubles. And Dominic Carter, that you know, would not have been here if not for public school teachers. They said, okay, we want you to read these 2 books and write 2 papers for a gym credit, whatever credit I needed to graduate on time. And these were all white teachers that stood up to help me. And then my Uncle Lowell, who happened to be a white man in Seattle, Washington, because my father was never in the picture. So I can't tell you, Teddy, about racism because I haven't experienced it. I really haven't. So you have the floor, Teddy.
Well, that's just, it's hard to comprehend, and I'm happy that you never experienced it. But in this society that we have, supposedly the greatest country in the world, we have a lot of racists and anti-Semites, and I don't know the words to describe it anymore. And it burns me up inside.
Hey, Teddy, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Matt, and it's got to be a quick response here. Why?
Sure.
Why is there anti-Semitism?
Jealousy. We're a successful people.
I agree.
We're a successful people. People come to us for medicine, help, dental, accounting, business, legal. We're a successful minority who's always stressed education and learning.
Right. And if we're keeping it real, Teddy, because I got to take a break, if not for Jewish Americans, I probably wouldn't be before this microphone. The Jewish Americans that gave their life in the civil rights movement to help black people, to help others. So I think you hit it on the head. I think that's what Matt was alluding to as well, the jealousy. Don't be jealous of another person. Get up off your backside and do something that's productive.
Matt, happy Hanukkah, Matt. Happy Hanukkah.
And happy Hanukkah to you too, Teddy. Happy Hanukkah.
Take care, buddy.
Thank you, Teddy. And I hope your cardiac stress test went well. Thank you, Matt Blaze. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
Back to the phones we go. Judith in Brooklyn, line 3. What's on your mind, Judith?
Hi, you know something? I just heard Matt, and I just want to send him a big hug. A big hug.
Thank you, Judith. Thank you very much.
For the little kid that's still inside of you, and that hurt. It's hurtful. It makes no sense. The whole rejection. My God, as a child. And like your screen, it says, anything else you want to say besides that? I said, I don't know. He says, well, maybe you could talk about anti-Semitism. I answered, well, I am Jewish. So yeah.
So Judith, I'm trying to squeeze in Norman here in a second amongst the calls. But so you tell me, explain this hatred of Jews, because I hate it. I hate for it to be that simplistic, but to me, from an outsider, it seems like it's jealousy, and I've never understood jealousy. So, like for example, right? I want a house in Saddle River, New Jersey. If you look at the numbers, I'll never be able to afford it, right? They go anywhere. The cheapest one's probably $3 million, right? I'm just throwing a number out there, right? But I'm not going to hate on the people that live there. I'm going to work 5 times harder, which is what I'm doing now, to try and get there. Why hate on someone else because they're successful?
I want you to know you happen to be a very generous soul, Dominic. And unfortunately, I think Teddy is right. I heard him. I think jealousy and the fact that, yes, Jewish people. I know I was brought up, that my job was to get hundreds on my test, and the pressure was immense. What that meant was that was my work. Went to school, and I had to come back and getting best marks and always the best and always this and this. And I'm Jewish, so it could be that this is part of this whole Jewish mentality that all of us have to really make it and get the best marks and just make it and be successful, because a generation before us, they came out of the Holocaust, okay? And their crime was that they were born Jewish. Like we have a choice. Like you have a choice who your parents were. Do I have a choice who my parents were? I found out when I was little my parents are Jewish. You found out they weren't Jewish. They were Christian or whatever. We all have our path, whatever. So it's a sad situation when I think a lot of people, they don't have God in them. They don't understand that there's God, and God created all of us, and we're all even in God's eyes. And God wants us to serve him a certain way. We all have our path. We all have our role. I can't be you, can't be me, but I could be the best me, and you could be the best you.
Absolutely.
But there are people out there, and they are, unfortunately, they are jealous. And if they don't have it, then they don't want you to have it,
Right. Thank you, Judith. I'm trying to leave Norman some time here. Again, I just don't understand. If you have something I don't have, I'm not going to hate on you. I'm going to look in the mirror, and I'm going to say, okay, if it means I got to get 3 hours sleep a night, I got to do what I got to do. Norman in Brooklyn. What's on your mind, Norman? Line 5.
Hey, Dominic. Okay, very simply. There is historical reasons, both religious, jealousy, for anti-Semitism. However, I'm going to just, being that I'm up against the break, I'm just going to tell you, in my heart, America is not a systemically anti-Semitic nation, okay? I, too, experienced what what Matt Blazed experienced. It was Bowery Boys type. Somebody called me a Jew boy, and me using a racial epithet against him, and you getting yelled at the N-word, and you yelling back at him, your mother. I experienced that. However, I did not experience what my mother went through, having her family getting killed, and in defense of America, George Washington.
Hey, Norman, I want you to say that. Norman, save the comment if you can for tomorrow. I don't want to cheat you of time. I want to have this. We will continue this tomorrow at this time. Folks, I'm back 3 p.m. Eastern, but the Midnight Show, part 2 of this conversation.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. A ride.